What is Stoicism? Stoicism, originating from ancient Greek philosophy in the tradition of Socrates, was established in Athens by Zeno of Citium around 301 BC. The name Stoicism derives from the painted porch, Stoa Poikal, where Zeno delivered his teachings to his students. This philosophical school gained significant popularity in ancient Rome, enduring long after the disappearance of its Greek roots. Despite the scarcity of surviving original Stoic writings, key sources include 1. The extensive letters, essays, and dialogues of Seneca, a Roman statesman who served as advisor to Emperor Nero. 2. The handbook and 4 books of Epictetus' discourses, compiled by his student Arrian. Epictetus, a Greek former slave, stands as the sole Stoic teacher whose thoughts are preserved in written form. 3. The Meditations, a private diary of Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor deeply influenced by Epictetus. Marcus Aurelius, renowned for his succinct and eloquent expression of Stoic ideas in the Meditations, likely composed these reflections as a means of philosophical support amidst his demanding role as emperor and general. This practice of personal reflection in a Stoic manner was later echoed by Anthony Ashley Cooper, the 3rd Earl of Shaftesbury, in his own journal, inspired by Epictetus' discourses and Marcus Aurelius' meditations, published as The Philosophical Regimen. Stoic Week offers an opportunity to emulate Marcus Aurelius' routine by engaging in daily morning and evening meditations. Participants may choose to record their reflections in a personal notebook or share them via social networks. While some may opt to read Marcus Aurelius' meditations during Stoic Week, it is not mandatory, with recent translations available in paperback and e-book formats from Oxford World's Classics and Penguin. Christopher Gill, a co-founder of Stoic Week, aims for the Stoic Week Handbook to provide support akin to that found by Marcus Aurelius through his meditations. Central Stoic ideas. What is Stoicism? How can Stoicism contribute to improving our lives today, fostering greater happiness and well-being? Some may be inclined to explore Stoicism due to existing familiarity and a desire to implement its principles firsthand, while others may be newcomers seeking to delve into its teachings. The ancient Stoic philosophical framework, renowned for its depth and breadth across ethics, logic, and physics, encompasses numerous concepts. Here, we'll highlight 3 central tenets of Stoic ethics. 1. Virtue. Stoics emphasized that the utmost importance in life, the sole true value, lies in virtue, which denotes excellence of character. Key virtues for Stoics include *wisdom, particularly moral or practical wisdom; *justice, encompassing kindness, fairness, and the application of wisdom in relationships; *courage, mastery over fears; *moderation, mastery over desires. Wisdom stands as the paramount virtue, with other virtues seen as forms of practical wisdom. Courage and moderation represent Stoic self-control necessary to align with wisdom and justice, particularly amid external challenges and internal desires and emotions. However, Stoic virtue extends beyond personal character to encompass ethical principles, attitudes towards others, intentions, actions, and overall life patterns. Virtue isn't confined to mental states, but also involves familial and social relations, embodying the fulfillment of our inherent rational nature. Living virtuously entails not only harmony with oneself, but also with humanity and the broader natural order, facing adversity with grace, patience, and equanimity. 2. Eudaimonia. Stoics asserted that virtue is the sole true good, the key to well-being and fulfillment. Prioritizing the cultivation of virtue is paramount for a good life. The term eudaimonia, often translated as happiness, encompasses a rounded and complete state of flourishing or fulfillment, contrasting with a hapless or wretched condition. It denotes living the best possible life, aligning with one's true nature and benefiting others. 3. Indifference. Stoics posited that external pursuits such as wealth, success, or fame while potentially contributing to happiness, are not inherently essential for fulfillment. Such indifference, external to one's character, do not guarantee genuine fulfillment on their own. While some are to be preferred or rejected with reservations, their outcomes are never entirely within our control. Personal fulfillment hinges primarily on virtue, rather than the acquisition of external possessions, which remains subject to fate. Stoicism suggests that recognizing the primacy of virtue and cultivating it leads to a fulfilling life, transcending external circumstances and fostering inner contentment and harmony. 2. Emotions. In popular perception, a Stoic is often portrayed as someone who suppresses or denies their emotions, akin to a robot, or the character Mr. Spock from Star Trek. However, this notion is a widespread misconception. The fundamental Stoic principle argues that our emotions stem from our judgments about events. It is our belief in the significance of external events that gives rise to emotions like anger or fear. As we gain a clearer understanding of what truly matters and what lies within our control, these irrational or unhealthy emotions can be replaced by rational and healthy ones. In essence, as we develop ethically and recognize the absolute value of virtue, our emotional landscape evolves for the better. Just as faulty value judgments lead to unhealthy emotions and desires, wise judgments foster rational and healthy ones. For instance, Stoics delineated 3 broad categories of positive desires and emotions integral to a happy and fulfilled life, emerging naturally from the cultivation of virtuous attitudes. 1. Joy, derived from experiencing what is genuinely good, contrasting with superficial or destructive pleasures. 2. Caution, exercised against the prospect of genuine harm, such as folly and vice, rather than fear of external circumstances. 3. Wishing, directing desires toward what is truly good, like desiring the well-being of oneself and others, instead of irrational cravings for things beyond our control, such as health, wealth, or reputation. Marcus Aurelius articulated the Stoic goal as attaining a state of being freed from passions and yet full of love, emphasizing the overcoming of unhealthy desires and emotions. The Stoic sage is not devoid of emotion, but seeks to cultivate natural affection for loved ones in accordance with virtue, extending ethical concern universally through philanthropy. The Stoics recognize certain reflex-like aspects of emotion, such as physiological reactions, which are typically involuntary. While we may not control these reactions, we can choose our responses and whether we allow initial impressions to escalate into excessive or unhealthy passions. It's important to distinguish between initial reactions and needless dwelling on insignificant matters, understanding that our true privilege lies in extending love even to those who err, recognizing our shared humanity and mortality. 3. Nature and the community of humankind. The founders of Stoicism proclaimed that the core tenet of their philosophy, the ultimate aim of life, could be encapsulated as living in agreement with nature. But what exactly did they mean by this? Well, they equated it with living in harmony with virtue. As previously discussed, Stoics conceptualized nature in 3 primary dimensions. 1. Inner nature. This refers to our true essence, believed by Stoics to be our capacity for reason. 2. Social nature. It encompasses the nature of society and our interconnectedness with the rest of humanity. 3. External nature. This denotes the nature of the universe surrounding us. Stoics asserted that living a virtuous life aligns naturally with the essence of being human. They encouraged us to recognize that cultivating moral integrity within ourselves mirrors the coherence and unity inherent in the world at large. Conversely, those who act foolishly and viciously are depicted as being at odds with their true nature, in conflict with others, and estranged from the world. Furthermore, Stoics advocated for viewing ourselves as integral components of nature, emphasizing our interconnectedness with the broader cosmos. This perspective can help foster an awareness of our impact on the natural environment and our place within it. Understanding that our individual life cycles are but infinitesimal parts of the greater natural order can facilitate acceptance of all events, including our mortality and that of others, with equanimity. Embracing a broader, more objective outlook on life, as advocated by Stoics in their study of nature, referred to as physics, serves not only to enhance our understanding of the world, but also to transform our character on moral and therapeutic levels. Virtue, Stoics argue, extends beyond personal mindset to encompass our interactions with others, rooted in our inherent sociability as a species. From this natural inclination towards social connection arises the Stoic concept of the community of humankind, wherein cooperation is deemed inherent to our nature. Marcus Aurelius underscores this sentiment, likening human cooperation to the coordination of bodily functions. If you're participating in Stoic Week, it's essential to approach Stoicism and its central ideas about value, emotions, and nature with an open mind. While you're not obligated to accept these ideas uncritically, you should be willing to explore them further and assess their potential truth and benefits in guiding your life. The aim of this project isn't to persuade you of the absolute truth of Stoic claims, but rather to determine if they offer practical value in your personal journey. If these ideas appear entirely nonsensical to you, then perhaps Stoic Week may not align with your interests. Stoic Week, your daily routine. Each day during Stoic Week revolves around a central theme, with these themes progressively building upon one another, potentially initiating a deeper exploration into Stoicism. Set aside some time at midday or whenever convenient to reflect on the day's theme and its implications for your activities. Additionally, engage in morning and evening meditations, offering opportunities for introspection and growth. Let's delve into these exercises in more detail. Morning meditation. Upon waking each morning, take a moment to center yourself, then contemplate the day ahead. Consider how you can improve yourself while acknowledging that certain aspects lie beyond your control. Marcus Aurelius recommended reflecting on the stars and the rising sun as a preparatory practice. You can simulate this at home by sitting at the edge of your bed or standing before a mirror, envisioning the dawn against a backdrop of stars. Choose a specific philosophical principle or virtue to focus on, repeating it to yourself and imagining how to apply it throughout the day. This could involve prioritizing being a good person, acting virtuously, and maintaining perspective on matters beyond your control. Allocate 5 to 10 minutes to this meditation, envisioning potential challenges and contemplating Stoic principles or virtues to address them. Evening meditation. Epictetus and Seneca described a form of philosophical self-reflection practiced by Stoics each evening, derived from Pythagoreanism. Before bedtime, spend 5 to 10 minutes reviewing the events of your day, ideally before getting into bed, to ensure clear thinking rather than drowsiness. Consider jotting down notes in a journal to document your reflections and progress. Recall the sequence of interactions, tasks, and decisions throughout your day. Ask yourself, 1. What did you handle poorly? Did you succumb to irrational fears or desires? Did you act unvirtuously or entertain irrational thoughts? 2. What did you handle well? Did you advance in virtue or character strength? Acknowledge and reinforce positive actions. 3. What could you approach differently? Did you miss opportunities to exhibit virtue or character strength? How could you navigate situations better? Approach these questions with a mindset of self-compassion and constructive critique, focusing on actions rather than self-worth. Learn from mistakes and strive to act differently the following day, thus perpetuating a learning cycle of self-improvement. Be cautious not to dwell excessively on past events, aiming for practical insights and clear decisions. Recognize the immutable nature of the past and adopt a stance of provisional acceptance of personal failings, while committing to behavioral adjustments for the future. Seneca reminds us not to fear confronting mistakes, as Stoics can acknowledge errors while offering self-forgiveness and a resolve for improvement. By engaging in these daily meditations, you embark on a journey of self-discovery and growth, unraveling the hidden nuances of Stoic practice as you progress. The Stoic Self-Monitoring Record. You might find it beneficial to utilize a self-monitoring record to track behaviors you wish to address, such as dwelling on negative thoughts or actions that may lead to regret. If you feel pressed for time, don't fret. This step is optional. However, previous participants in Stoic Week have reported finding record-keeping particularly beneficial. The self-monitoring record draws inspiration from methods employed in cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT. Although ancient Stoics didn't employ a similar form, they did advocate for comparable self-monitoring practices in their writings. For instance, Epictetus advised his students to keep track of days free from succumbing to anger. The suggested self-monitoring record is a simple sheet of paper with several columns. 1. Date/time/event. Record the date and time of the event triggering your emotional response. Briefly describe the situation you encountered, such as criticism at work or temptation to indulge in unhealthy food. 2. Feelings. Note the emotions or desires you experienced, focusing on those considered irrational or negative. Include early warning signs, like trembling when anxious or rationalizations when tempted to indulge. 3. Thoughts. Document the related thoughts that crossed your mind. Stoic philosophy asserts that emotions and desires stem from our thoughts and value judgments. Identify any external judgments of events as very good or bad, which may influence your feelings. 4. Control. Reflect on whether the situation prompting your feelings is under your direct control. Consider if external factors, such as others' opinions, are beyond your control. Write a brief summary of your analysis regarding which aspects are within your control. 5. Actions. Evaluate how your actions align with your ethical principles or understanding of virtue. Consider whether your behavior reflected wisdom, justice, courage, and temperance, or if it was marked by foolishness, unfairness, cowardice, and self-indulgence. Rate the consistency of your actions with your values on a subjective scale from 0 to 100%. This process transcends mere record-keeping. It fosters reflection, offering psychological distance from initial thoughts and emotions. By promptly documenting your experiences, you can view your thoughts objectively, fostering self-awareness and facilitating growth. Theme: Stoicism and love. Men exist for the sake of one another. Either instruct them or tolerate them. Marcus Aurelius. Meditations. Each year, Stoic Week adopts a different overarching theme, with this year focusing on Stoicism and love. Many assume Stoicism to be emotionally detached, but it's surprising to discover that natural affection, philostorgia, for others formed the basis of Stoic ethics. This affection is akin to concepts like love and friendship. Marcus Aurelius described the ideal Stoic as free from unhealthy, irrational passion, and yet full of love, while Musonius Rufus emphasized that a Stoic philosopher displays love, goodness, justice, kindness, and concern for others. Living in harmony and friendship with others aligns with the Stoic concept of living in agreement with nature, although this may seem utopian compared to our current reality. The cardinal virtue relevant to interpersonal interactions is justice, comprising kindness towards others and treating them fairly and impartially. Seneca emphasized that justice requires treating friends as dear as oneself, aiming to turn enemies into friends and tempering hatred. Marcus Aurelius provided practical advice for dealing with difficult people, emphasizing kindness, fairness, and natural affection. He urged understanding the transient nature of conflicts, avoiding dwelling on insults, and recognizing that our own anger harms us more than others. Epictetus offered succinct advice to tell oneself it seemed right to them when facing difficult individuals. Stoic love and friendship are virtuous acts, not contingent on reciprocity. Stoics exhibit kindness and affection without expecting anything in return, recognizing that others' behavior is beyond their control. The ability to show friendship unconditionally is admirable. Throughout Stoic practices, one should revisit this advice, reflecting on Stoicism's theme of love in various contexts, particularly in relationships. Each day of Stoic Week is themed, with Monday focusing on life as a project and role models. reflecting on texts from Stoic figures like Maximus Aurelius, encourages virtues like self-mastery, cheerfulness, readiness, truthfulness, and personal charm. Today's midday exercise: writing your own meditations. On our first day, we delve into two key Stoic concepts prevalent in Marcus Aurelius' Meditations. Firstly, life is viewed as an ongoing journey of ethical self-improvement. Secondly, this journey involves reflecting on the virtues and lifestyles of those closest to us to enhance our own development. The term philosophy translates to love of wisdom, a sentiment the Stoics embody quite literally. Wisdom stands as the central virtue in Stoicism, with Stoics valuing virtue, both in themselves and others, above all else. Marcus, in a morning reflection, ponders the wisdom and virtue exemplified by Maximus, an esteemed family friend and politician with profound philosophical interests. Stoic theory, as depicted in Book 1 of Marcus' Meditations, posits that human life, when lived correctly, is an ongoing journey towards the highest human condition, wisdom. This journey comprises two strands: individual and social. Individually, we progress from instinctual desires for self-preservation and material wealth towards aspiring to live virtuously, guided by wisdom, justice, moderation, and courage. Socially, we deepen our care for others, recognizing all human beings as rational creatures capable of ethical development, fostering lasting familial and communal bonds. Stoics believe these dual strands of development complement and reinforce each other, accessible to all individuals regardless of their inherent traits or societal backgrounds. However, such progress requires deliberate effort. Marcus employs regular reflection and note-taking to aid his development, considering it his primary job or work as a human being. Reflecting on his life journey, Marcus contemplates the ethical qualities he has come to value and the impact of his relationships on this recognition. This handbook emulates Marcus' reflective practice, encouraging readers to form their own notes and reflections based on the daily themes explored throughout the week. Take a moment to contemplate the qualities you value in life, noting any changes over time and the individuals who have influenced your perspective. Consider family, friends, colleagues, or admired figures, acknowledging their embodiment of wisdom and virtue. This contemplation, akin to wise love and stoicism, can be integrated into your daily activities, revisited as the week progresses to track your evolving thoughts on these themes. Evening text for reflection. Let us approach our rest with joy and contentment, declaring, "I have lived. The path laid by fortune is complete, and if another day is granted, let us welcome it with open hearts." The happiest individual, secure in self-possession, awaits the morrow without fear. Every morning brings a bonus to one who has proclaimed, "I have lived." Today's overview. Here's a recap of your daily routine, along with some guidance tailored to today's theme. 1. Morning. Begin by reading today's morning text. Mentally prepare for the day ahead by envisioning how you can emulate the virtues of your role models amidst the day's challenges. 2. Midday. Engage in writing your own philosophical journal akin to Marcus Aurelius. Focus on documenting the virtues you admire in others and aspire to embody in your own life. Use writing as an opportunity for deep contemplation on these qualities. 3. Evening. Read today's evening text. Reflect on your day. Areas of improvement, accomplishments, and opportunities for future growth. Imagine being your own Stoic life coach, offering wise and affectionate counsel. Utilize the Stoic self-monitoring record throughout the day, with a focus on enhancing self-awareness of your thoughts, actions, and feelings in relation to your morning meditation goals. Also, refer to the section on Stoic maxims and affirmations below. Stoic maxims and affirmations. Consider employing the practice of repeating key phrases or maxims to fortify your resilience, especially during challenging times. Epictetus advised his students to mentally recite various statements, both general and specific to emotional challenges. For example, phrases like "you are just an impression" and not the reality you claim to represent, and this is nothing to me, were recommended to counter troubling thoughts. In response to upsetting behavior, students were encouraged to say, "It seemed right to him." Stoic literature abounds with concise and memorable sayings, serving as coping mechanisms in adversity. Zeno, the Stoic founder, defended the brevity of these sayings, emphasizing their potency. Engross yourself in these thoughts when alone, and internalize them for strength and comfort. Here are some examples of Stoic sayings, adapted slightly for use as affirmations. Reflect on their meaning or imagine fully embracing these principles. Asterisk, some things are under my control and others are not. Asterisk, people are upset not by things but by their judgments about things. Asterisk, you are just an appearance and not the reality you claim to represent. Asterisk, you are nothing to me. Asterisk, virtue is the only true good. Asterisk, what is beyond my control is indifferent to me. Asterisk, indifference to indifferent things. Asterisk, if you want any good, get it from within yourself. Asterisk, don't demand that things go as you will, but will that they happen as they do, and your life will go smoothly. Asterisk, sickness is a hindrance to the body, but not to the will. Asterisk, never say of anything, I have lost it, but I have returned it. Asterisk, it seemed right to them. Asterisk, everything has two handles, and can be picked up and carried either wisely or foolishly. Asterisk, whoever yields properly to fate is deemed wise among men and knows the laws of heaven. Additionally, two famous sayings associated with Epictetus Stoicism are, remember you must die, and endure and renounce, or bear and forbear, embodying the virtues of courage and resilience. Self-discipline. Tuesday, control. What is in our control? Morning text for reflection. In the early hours, when rousing from slumber feels arduous, hold this thought. I rise to fulfill the duties of a human being. Do I resent it, knowing I'm venturing into the purpose for which I was born and brought into this world? Or was I crafted to linger beneath the covers merely for comfort? But this is more pleasurable, you may argue. Were you born for pleasure? Were you born for sensation or for empathy? Observe the plants, the tiny sparrows, the ants, the spiders, the bees diligently tending to their tasks, contributing to the harmony of the world. And yet, are you reluctant to undertake the work befitting the human being? Will you not eagerly engage in what aligns with your nature? Marcus Aurelius. Today's midday reflection. Understanding our sphere of control and wishing with reserve today and tomorrow, we delve into themes pivotal to the meditative practices advocated in this manual. These themes find resonance in contemporary psychotherapeutic methods, but are firmly rooted in Stoic philosophy. They are prominently featured in Marcus Aurelius' writings, which draw heavily from Epictetus. Marcus, profoundly influenced by Epictetus, incorporates these themes into his meditative regimen. Today, we contemplate two interconnected Stoic concepts: discerning what lies within our power and adopting a mindset of wishing with reserve. Both concepts stem from the ideas of human development elucidated yesterday. Stoics assert that every individual can and should advance their ethical development by learning to act virtuously and by nurturing relationships with others. This falls within our purview as rational beings. Numerous circumstances are beyond our control, such as wealth, fame, illness, or loss of loved ones. Stoics maintain that what is within our control holds paramount importance in our lives, outweighing uncontrollable factors. While it's natural to desire health or wealth, Stoics consider these secondary to virtue. They emphasize recognizing the dichotomy between what is and isn't within our power is vital for leading a virtuous life, free from negative emotions. When forming wishes about external factors, Stoics advocate doing so with a reserve clause to avoid disappointment and disillusionment. Epictetus succinctly delineates this dichotomy. Some things are within our control, such as opinions, desires, and actions, while others, like our bodies, possessions, or reputation, are not. Marcus echoes this sentiment. Embrace the life of a virtuous person, content with their allotted share and satisfied with their righteous deeds and benevolent disposition. Embrace the wisdom you've acquired and entrust your life to the gods with wholehearted devotion. Marcus advises focusing on ethical development while acknowledging one's place within a larger, interconnected scheme of events, accepting outcomes beyond personal control. Stoic acceptance entails recognizing external circumstances and responding with resilience and purpose within one's sphere of control. In essence, Stoic serenity arises from accepting reality while maintaining resolve in areas within one's control. The famous Serenity Prayer epitomizes this Stoic doctrine. Grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. Therefore, Stoics advocate framing plans and wishes with a reserve clause, acknowledging external factors. This distinction underscores the importance of focusing on what lies within our power. Reflect on how this distinction manifests in your life. One of controllable aspects and aspirations and another of uncontrollable factors. Consider which holds greater significance, aligning with the Stoic dichotomy between virtue and externals. Evening text for reflection. Try to persuade them and act even against their will whenever the principle of justice leads you to do so. But if someone uses force to resist you, change your approach to accepting it and not being hurt, and use the setback to express another virtue. Remember, too, that your motive was formed with reservation and that you were not aiming at the impossible. At what then? A motive formed with reservation, but you have achieved this. What we propose to ourselves is actually happening. Today's summary. Here's a guide to your daily routine along with some suggestions for aligning it with today's theme. 1. Morning. Begin by reading today's morning text. Mentally prepare yourself for the day ahead by envisioning how you would handle any setbacks or challenges with Stoic wisdom. Differentiate between what is within your control and what is not. Approach external goals with the reserve clause mentioned earlier, acknowledging the role of fate in your endeavors. 2. Midday. Take some time to delve deeper into specific situations by identifying the aspects that are within your control and those that are not. Reflect on what it would mean to pursue your goals, both for the day and in life overall, while embracing the Stoic reserve clause. For example, when setting intentions, add phrases like fate permitting to acknowledge external factors. 3. Evening. End the day by reading today's evening text. Reflect on your experiences. Identify areas where you may have fallen short. Acknowledge your successes, and consider what you could do differently in the future. Evaluate how well you maintained awareness of the distinction between what you could control and what you couldn't. Remember to utilize the Stoic self-monitoring record. Pay particular attention to any negative emotions you may have felt and examine whether they stemmed from thoughts about factors beyond your control. Take note of your value judgments regarding external circumstances being perceived as either positive or negative. Wednesday. Mindfulness. Stoic mindfulness and examining your impressions. Morning text for reflection. People seek retreats in various places, the countryside, coastlines, or hills. And you, too, may feel this inclination. Yet it's rather unphilosophical when you can retreat within yourself whenever you wish. Nowhere else can one find a more serene and trouble-free sanctuary than within their own mind, especially if it holds thoughts that bring immediate tranquility. By ease of mind, I refer to nothing but having one's thoughts in proper order. Therefore, consistently grant yourself this inner retreat and rejuvenate. Keep concise and fundamental principles close at hand, capable of swiftly relieving you of all distress and allowing you to return to your activities without resentment. Today's midday exercise. Stoic mindfulness and examining your impressions. Evening texts for reflection. Here's a reminder of your daily routine with some tips on adapting it to today's theme. 1. Morning. Begin by reading today's morning text. Prepare yourself mentally for the day ahead by envisioning how you might respond to any setbacks or challenges with Stoic wisdom. Distinguish between what is up to you and what isn't, and approach external goals with the reserve clause mentioned earlier. 2. Midday. Take some time to analyze specific situations in more detail. List the aspects that are up to you and those that are not. Contemplate what it would mean to pursue your goals, whether today or in life in general, while keeping the Stoic reserve clause in mind. Remind yourself to say, "I will do X if fate permits." 3. Evening. End your day by reading today's evening text. Reflect on how things went throughout the day. Consider what you might have done poorly, what you did well, and what you could do differently in the future. Pay close attention to how successfully you maintained the distinction between what was under your control and what wasn't. Remember to use the Stoic self-monitoring record, focusing specifically on any disturbing or negative emotions you may have experienced. Evaluate to what extent these emotions were associated with thoughts about things not entirely under your control, and notice any value judgments you made about external factors being good or bad. Today's summary. Here's a reminder of your daily routine with some tips on adapting it to today's theme. 1. Morning. Begin by reading today's morning text. Prepare yourself mentally for the day ahead by envisioning how you might respond to any setbacks or challenges with Stoic wisdom. Distinguish between what is up to you and what isn't, and approach external goals with the reserve clause mentioned earlier. 2. Midday. Take some time to analyze specific situations in more detail. List the aspects that are up to you and those that are not. Contemplate what it would mean to pursue your goals, whether today or in life in general, while keeping the Stoic reserve clause in mind. Remind yourself to say, "I will do X if fate permits." 3. Evening. End your day by reading today's evening text. Reflect on how things went throughout the day. Consider what you might have done poorly, what you did well, and what you could do differently in the future. Pay close attention to how successfully you maintained the distinction between what was under your control and what wasn't. Remember to use the Stoic self-monitoring record, focusing specifically on any disturbing or negative emotions you may have experienced. Evaluate to what extent these emotions were associated with thoughts about things not entirely under your control, and notice any value judgments you made about external factors being good or bad. 1. Morning. Start your day by reading today's morning text. Mentally prepare yourself for the day ahead by imagining how you might respond to people and situations with greater mindfulness and self-awareness. 2. Midday. Take 5 to 10 minutes to sit quietly and practice mindfulness. Observe your automatic thoughts and feelings with a detached scientific attitude, as if you were observing the stream of consciousness of another person. Throughout the day, maintain greater awareness of your thoughts and actions, particularly viewing any disturbing feelings with greater cognitive distance. 3. Evening. End your day by reading today's evening text. Reflect on how things went, especially when practicing Stoic mindfulness. Remember to use the Stoic self-monitoring record. Today, use writing down your thoughts and feelings as a way to gain cognitive distance from them. Pausing and looking at a concise expression of your thoughts on paper can help you view them objectively. Also, knowing you'll review events later in the evening meditation can make you more mindful of how you respond throughout the day if approached with careful self-discipline. Thursday. Virtue and values clarification. Morning text for reflection. Today's midday exercise. Virtue and values clarification. In our earlier discussion on central Stoic ideas, we outlined the core virtues according to Stoic philosophy: wisdom, justice, moderation, and courage. These virtues are considered the cornerstone of a fulfilling life, with virtue being the sole basis for genuine fulfillment. While other pursuits like health and material prosperity are natural desires, they pale in comparison to virtue. Why did the Stoics emphasize virtue to such an extent? They saw the virtues as essential qualities that enable us to live fully human lives, rational and social beings in the truest sense. The 4 chief virtues encompass various aspects of living well: rational understanding, proper treatment of others, and managing emotions and desires. These virtues are interdependent, and possessing them enables us to excel in all facets of life. The Stoics viewed virtue as the ultimate requirement for happiness. Compared to virtue, all other pursuits are relatively insignificant. While attaining virtue in its entirety is challenging, the Stoics believe that all individuals are capable of striving for virtue, and that this pursuit should be our life's overarching goal. Living a Stoic life means embarking on a continual journey toward virtue. This entails directing our focus towards developing virtues rather than pursuing external goals like fame or wealth, as exemplified in Marcus Aurelius' Meditations. Suppose you find the Stoic perspective on virtue appealing and wish to understand how it applies to your life. A technique called values clarification, often used in modern psychological therapy, can help with this reflection. 1. Identify core values. Reflect on the qualities you deem most important for leading a good human life. Consider what you want your life to stand for, what activities you prioritize, and the kind of person you aspire to be in various roles. 2. Assess action-value alignment. Evaluate whether your daily actions align with your core values. If not, brainstorm ways to bridge the gap between your values and actions. By engaging in values clarification, you can gain clarity on your ethical beliefs and ensure that your actions are in harmony with your values, fostering a sense of integrity and fulfillment in life. Evening text for reflection. The development of every habit and skill is shaped and reinforced by consistent practice. Walking improves your walking. Running enhances your running ability. If you desire literacy, read. If you aspire to be a painter, paint. Take a break from reading for a month and engage in other activities instead, and observe the consequences. Similarly, if you are confined to bed for just 10 days, upon getting up, you'll notice your legs struggling to support you when you attempt to walk a distance. Therefore, if you enjoy a certain activity, engage in it regularly. If you dislike it, cultivate a habit of doing something different. This principle extends to mental affairs as well. If you wish to avoid being hot-tempered, refrain from fueling your anger or escalating instances of wrath. Resist the initial impulse to anger, and start counting the days when you successfully manage to control it. Reflect on your progress. I used to lose my temper daily, then every other day, then every third day. If you manage to resist anger for an entire month, consider it a significant achievement, as the vice begins to weaken from the very first day until it is eradicated completely. If you can proudly declare, I did not lose my temper today, nor the next day, and for 2, then 3 consecutive months, then you have achieved excellent emotional health. Trust me on this. Today's summary. Here's a reminder of your daily routine, along with some tips on adapting it to today's theme. 1. Morning. Begin by reading today's morning text. Mentally prepare yourself for the day ahead by strategizing how you can align your actions more closely with your core values. Consider ways in which you can prioritize tasks and decisions that resonate with your deepest priorities in life. 2. Midday. Set aside 5 to 10 minutes to sit quietly and delve deeper into your core values. Reflect on the values clarification questions mentioned earlier. Aim to develop a clearer understanding of what holds the most significance for you in life, focusing not only on external goals, but also on the type of person you aspire to be and your character. 3. Evening. End the day by reading today's evening text. Reflect on your actions and experiences throughout the day. Evaluate how consistently you were able to act in alignment with your core values. Consider if there are areas where you could approach things differently tomorrow. Utilize the Stoic self-monitoring record to track and assess specific situations and your responses to them. Did your actions reflect your core values? Did you demonstrate wisdom and exhibit virtues such as justice, discipline, and courage? Reflect on which virtues could help you navigate similar situations more effectively in the future. Friday. Relationships. Relationships with other people and society. Morning text for reflection. As you wake up each morning, remind yourself, today, I will encounter individuals who may be meddling, ungrateful, violent, treacherous, envious, or unsociable. These traits stem from their ignorance of what is truly good and bad. However, I have discerned the nature of goodness, understanding it as right, and the nature of wrongdoing, recognizing it as wrong. I have also grasped the essence of the wrongdoer, understanding that they are connected to me not by blood or lineage, but by sharing the same mind and divine essence. Therefore, their actions cannot harm me, as I will not be drawn into their wrongdoing. I will not harbor anger or hatred towards them, for we are designed for cooperation, much like the coordination of our feet, hands, eyelids, and teeth. Acting against one another goes against our inherent nature, and holding on to resentment or rejection is akin to working against someone. Today's midday exercise: relationships with other people and society. Today, Stoicism is sometimes misunderstood as promoting a cold and detached attitude towards others. However, this perception is quite puzzling, as Stoicism, more than any other ancient philosophy, emphasizes the natural inclination of human beings to care for one another and to actively participate in their communities. This fundamental aspect of Stoic philosophy is essential to the understanding of human ethical development. It's worth noting that this modern criticism of Stoicism was not prevalent in the ancient world. Rather, it's a misconception that has emerged over time. Musonius Rufus, for instance, explicitly stated that Stoic ethics teaches the display of love, goodness, justice, kindness, and concern for fellow human beings. Stoics believe that humans, like other animals, possess an innate capacity for affection and care, particularly towards their own kin. Furthermore, they assert that individuals can deepen and extend this natural affection through rational and sociable means, such as engaging in family life, fostering deep friendships, and participating in local or national communities. A distinctive aspect of Stoic philosophy, uncommon in ancient Greece and Rome, is the idea of extending this attitude of care to all human beings universally, viewing them as brothers and sisters in a world community. This concept of kinship and co-citizenship is rooted in the understanding that all humans are inherently social creatures, capable of reason and capable of progressing towards virtue and wisdom. Marcus Aurelius' Meditations contains numerous reflections on interpersonal and social relationships, as well as on the positive emotions inherent in a virtuous life, contrasting them with negative and destructive emotions resulting from ethical errors. For example, Marcus emphasizes the importance of recalling the virtues displayed by those close to us as a source of cheer and inspiration. Furthermore, Marcus frequently refers to the brotherhood of humankind and the idea of universal citizenship, using these concepts to temper his responses to hostile or negative behavior from others. He reminds himself that such behavior stems from misunderstandings about what truly matters in life, and that harboring anger or resentment towards them is counterproductive. In his role as Roman emperor, Marcus also reflects on his political duties in light of his broader philosophical principles. He emphasizes the importance of maintaining equality before the law. The circles of Hierocles. Here's an exercise inspired by the Stoic philosopher Hierocles, aimed at cultivating a philanthropic attitude. 1. Close your eyes and take a moment to relax, focusing your attention on what you're about to visualize. 2. Imagine a circle of light surrounding your body, representing a growing sense of affection towards your own true nature as a rational being capable of wisdom, which is considered the chief good in life. 3. Expand this circle to include members of your family or others who are very close to you, projecting a sense of familial affection towards them as if they were parts of your own body. 4. Visualize the circle expanding further to encompass people you encounter in your daily life, such as colleagues or acquaintances, projecting a natural affection towards them as if they were members of your own family. 5. Allow the circle to expand even more to encompass everyone in the country where you live, imagining your affection spreading out towards them as fellow rational beings akin to yourself. 6. Finally, envision the circle growing to envelop the entire world the entire human race as one, allowing this philosophical and philanthropic affection to embrace every other member of the human race. Evening text for reflection. Here's an exercise inspired by the Stoic philosopher Hierocles, aimed at cultivating a philanthropic attitude. 1. Close your eyes and take a moment to relax, focusing your attention on what you're about to visualize. 2. Imagine a circle of light surrounding your body, representing a growing sense of affection towards your own true nature as a rational being capable of wisdom, which is considered the chief good in life. 3. Expand this circle to include members of your family or others who are very close to you, projecting a sense of familial affection towards them as if they were parts of your own body. 4. Visualize the circle expanding further to encompass people you encounter in your daily life, such as colleagues or acquaintances, projecting a natural affection towards them as if they were members of your own family. 5. Allow the circle to expand even more to encompass everyone in the country where you live, imagining your affection spreading out towards them as fellow rational beings akin to yourself. 6. Finally, envision the circle growing to envelop the entire world and the entire human race as one, allowing this philosophical and philanthropic affection to embrace every other member of the human race. One type of person, when they do a good deed for someone else, immediately calculates the favor they've done. Another type isn't as quick to calculate, but internally views the other person as indebted to them and is conscious of their actions. A third type is almost unaware of their good deeds, resembling a vine that bears fruit without seeking recognition, or a horse completing a race, a dog following a scent, or a bee making honey. Such a person doesn't boast about their actions, but moves on to the next task, like a vine producing grapes in due season. Aim to be like this, performing good deeds without seeking acknowledgement. Today's summary. Here's a recap of your daily routine, with tips on aligning it with today's theme. 1. Morning. Read today's morning text and exemplify its teachings. Mentally prepare for the day by acknowledging that people may behave in ways that might irk you. Practice responding to challenges with wisdom, justice, temperance, and patience. 2. Midday. Dedicate 5 to 10 minutes to quietly practice the circle of Hierocles exercise mentioned earlier. Envision reversing alienation and fostering harmony or connection with others. 3. Evening. Read today's evening text and reflect on your interactions throughout the day, particularly with other people. Utilize the Stoic self-monitoring record to assess your engagement with society. Saturday. Resilience. Resilience and preparation for adversity. Morning text for reflection. Be like the headland against which waves relentlessly crash, yet it remains steadfast while the turbulent waters calm around it. Instead of lamenting, "It's unfortunate this happened to me," say, "It's fortunate that despite this happening, I can endure it without succumbing to distress, unbroken by the present and unafraid of the future." Today's midday exercise. Preparation for adversity. In the chapter on central Stoic ideas, it was mentioned that the Stoics believe ethical development leads to changes in our emotional life. Gradually, positive emotions like joy and goodwill replace negative ones, such as anger and fear. However, achieving this transformation requires training and reflection. One exercise proposed by the Stoics is the premeditation of future adversity. It's important to note that the Stoics don't consider many worries as inherently bad. The only true bad is becoming morally weak or vicious. They advocate calmly accepting events that may seem bad but aren't truly so. The Stoics frequently discussed anticipating future catastrophes like bereavement, poverty, exile, illness, and death. While some may think this focus on death is morbid, Stoics view it as a means of mentally preparing to face adversity. By repeatedly picturing these scenarios, they aim to reduce anxiety, similar to exposure therapy in modern cognitive behavioral therapy. Starting with minor worries, one should patiently visualize worst-case scenarios while reminding themselves of Stoic principles. Spending at least 20 to 30 minutes daily on this exercise can be beneficial. Keep Keeping a record of emotions, duration, and reflections is helpful for self-analysis and learning. By gradually exposing oneself to imagined adversities, one can gain a rational and detached perspective, aligning with Stoic virtues like wisdom and courage. The evening text for reflection emphasizes giving full concentration to each task with dignity, concern for others, and adherence to reason and justice. Living in accordance with these principles leads to a smoothly flowing life, satisfying the expectations of the gods without excessive desires or self-love. In the chapter on central Stoic ideas, it was mentioned that the Stoics believe ethical development leads to changes in our emotional life. Gradually, positive emotions like joy and goodwill replace negative ones such as anger and fear. However, achieving this transformation requires training and reflection. One exercise proposed by the Stoics is the premeditation of future adversity. It's important to note that the Stoics don't consider many worries as inherently bad. The only true bad is becoming morally weak or vicious. They advocate calmly accepting events that may seem bad but aren't truly so. The Stoics frequently discussed anticipating future catastrophes like bereavement, poverty, exile, illness, and death. While some may think this focus on death is morbid, Stoics view it as a means of mentally preparing to face adversity. By repeatedly picturing these scenarios, they aim to reduce anxiety, similar to exposure therapy in modern cognitive behavioral therapy. Starting with minor worries, one should patiently visualize worst-case scenarios while reminding themselves of Stoic principles. Spending at least 20 to 30 minutes daily on this exercise can be beneficial. Keeping a record of emotions, duration, and reflections is helpful for self-analysis and learning. By gradually exposing oneself to imagined adversities, one can gain a rational and detached perspective, aligning with Stoic virtues like wisdom and courage. The evening text for reflection emphasizes giving full concentration to each task with dignity, concern for others, and adherence to reason and justice. Living in accordance with these principles leads to a smoothly flowing life, satisfying the expectations of the gods without excessive desires or self-love. Today's summary. Here's a reminder of your daily routine, with some tips on adapting it to today's theme. 1. Morning. Begin by reading today's morning text. Mentally prepare for your day ahead by envisioning potential setbacks and practice observing them with detached indifference. Allow any unsettling feelings to naturally diminish. Choose mild scenarios for this exercise, avoiding deeply upsetting ideas. 2. Midday. Dedicate a longer period, 20 to 30 minutes, to sit quietly and contemplate facing possible setbacks in life, such as poverty, job loss, relationship breakups, or illness. Utilize the procedure described earlier. Start with less distressing scenarios to gradually build resilience. The Stoic objective is to cultivate indifference towards external circumstances rather than being emotionally disturbed by them. 3. Evening. Conclude your day by reading today's evening text. Reflect on how you handled situations throughout the day, especially considering whether you could have emotionally prepared better in advance. Utilize the Stoic self-monitoring record, focusing particularly on how you managed situations rehearsed during your morning meditation, if applicable. Sunday. Nature. Nature and the view from above. Morning text for reflection. The actions of the gods are filled with foresight, and the events guided by fortune are not isolated from the natural order or the interconnectedness of all things governed by foresight. Everything emanates from this source. Additionally, necessity and the welfare of the entire cosmos, in which you play a role, are contributing factors. What is dictated by the overall nature and sustains that nature is beneficial for each individual part of it. Just as alterations in the elements uphold the cosmos, so do alterations in the compounds. Today's midday exercise. Nature and the view from above. On our final day, we contemplate our connection to the broader scope of nature. Upon reading Marcus' Meditations, one is struck by his frequent references to seeing oneself as a part of a grand cosmic whole governed by divine providence, as exemplified in the morning reflections. At times, he emphasizes the vastness of space and time, juxtaposed with the insignificance of human existence within this expansive context. Marcus advocates adopting a view from above, or a cosmic perspective, which serves to diminish our attachment to trivial matters by expanding our awareness beyond our limited habitual perspective. When we perceive events as occurring within the vastness of the cosmos, our distress over them diminishes, recognizing them as mere specks in cosmic space and time. This realization underscores our small role in the natural universe and the transient nature of our existence within it. Furthermore, Stoic philosophy posits a positive dimension to contemplating nature as a whole. Stoics believe that the universe exemplified qualities that could serve as moral standards for leading a virtuous life. These qualities include order, structure, rationality, and providential care. The recurring patterns in nature, such as celestial movements, day and night cycles, seasonal changes, and the growth and regeneration of life, reflect this order and providential care. Stoics find it beneficial to reflect on these aspects of nature and perceive themselves as integral parts of a larger natural pattern to facilitate ethical development. Despite the disparity between the modern scientific worldview and Stoic philosophy, there remains a potential resonance at a general level concerning nature's order and providence. Modernity has prompted a dire need to reconsider our relationship with nature due to environmental degradation and the endangerment of numerous species. Reflecting on the Stoic perspective of humanity's place within a larger cosmic whole may aid us in restoring nature's rightful order and providence. Marcus Aurelius encapsulates this theme eloquently in, "On our final day, we contemplate our connection to the broader scope of nature." Upon reading Marcus' Meditations, one is struck by his frequent references to seeing oneself as a part of a grand cosmic whole governed by divine providence, as exemplified in the morning reflections. At times, he emphasizes the vastness of space and time, juxtaposed with the insignificance of human existence within this expansive context. Marcus advocates adopting a view from above, or a cosmic perspective, which serves to diminish our attachment to trivial matters by expanding our awareness beyond our limited habitual perspective. When we perceive events as occurring within the vastness of the cosmos, our distress over them diminishes, recognizing them as mere specks in cosmic space and time. This realization underscores our small role in the natural universe and the transient nature of our existence within it. Stoic philosophy posits a positive dimension to contemplating nature as a whole. Stoics believe that the universe exemplified qualities that could serve as moral standards for leading a virtuous life. These qualities include order, structure, rationality, and providential care. The recurring patterns in nature, such as celestial movements, day and night cycles, seasonal changes, and the growth and regeneration of life, reflect this order and providential care. Stoics find it beneficial to reflect on these aspects of nature and perceive themselves as integral parts of a larger natural pattern to facilitate ethical development. Despite the disparity between the modern scientific worldview and Stoic philosophy, there remains a potential resonance at a general level concerning nature's order and providence. Modernity has prompted a dire need to reconsider our relationship with nature due to environmental degradation and the endangerment of numerous species. Reflecting on the Stoic perspective of humanity's place within a larger cosmic whole may aid us in restoring nature's rightful order and providence. Marcus Aurelius encapsulates this theme eloquently in Evening Text for Reflection. I journey along the path of nature until I finally lay down to rest, exhaling my last breath into the air, from which I have drawn my daily sustenance. Falling back to the earth from which my father derived his seed, my mother her blood, and my nurse her milk, and from which, for countless years, I have partaken of my daily nourishment and drink. It is the earth that supports my footsteps and has provided for me in countless ways. Today's summary. Here's a recap of your daily routine along with some suggestions for aligning it with today's theme. 1. Morning. Start by reading today's morning text. Mentally prepare yourself for the day by contemplating the vastness of time and space and your role within this grand cosmos. Visualize the sunrise and ponder the countless stars, embracing the expansive nature of the universe. 2. Midday. Take a moment to listen to the view from above audio recording provided, or alternatively, engage in your own reflection on the world from a higher perspective. Delve into the totality of space and time, recognizing the fleeting existence of your life within the vastness of the universe. 3. Evening. Conclude the day by reading today's evening text. Reflect on your experiences, focusing particularly on whether your perspective remained broad or became narrow throughout the day. Consider how this broader perspective influenced your responses to various events. Utilize the Stoic self-monitoring record to evaluate the consistency of your actions with a more expansive and objective outlook. Were you overly preoccupied with trivial matters, or did you maintain a broader focus? After Stoic Week, what's next? Have you enjoyed participating in Stoic Week? Has it been beneficial for you? If so, there's no need to stop at the end of this week. One of the advantages of this format is that it provides you with a structured framework that you can continue to follow week after week. To further deepen and develop your Stoic practice, the next step is to explore some of the ancient Stoic texts for yourself if you haven't already done so. 1. Get a copy of the Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. Take a few moments every day to read at least one new section of the text. Since many of these sections are brief, you'll likely end up reading more than one. 2. Begin reading the Handbook, and then the Discourses by Epictetus. Allocate some time every weekend to read 2 new